Among for there is a topic which is topicing, and the media is mediaing. This channel is ready to start channeling. Let's start interacting. Yes, among for another topic, is the issue of addiction. It's usually a habit which has been performed over time, over a long period of time. After you're performing at the end, you can't do away with it. What happens is that the brain has a lot to do with the issue of addiction. The frontal lobes, the chemicals in the brain, hormones, there are sometimes situations where there are imbalances. And into a certain behavior or an activity be a certain product, obi be try no once, brain be create a certain reaction to it. Nipa no on cause ade no bi on try bi. But in the same situation for another person, nipa no be try no once, and then there's a spark. That is it. A certain high be nipa no be achieve from performing that activity or taking in, consuming that product high be oba be nyana. Afi psychologically, this person will have to perform that activity, take in that product in multiple times, high doses, and someone was not achieve that same high again, and until that person becomes addicted to it. Or meanwhile, another person will try that same thing because of reaction will be those are some of the chemical imbalances in the brain a factor which affects whether one becomes addicted to a product or not. Addiction, there are various types of addiction. Usually, your product type, it is a addiction to alcohol. Or sorry, na say aka sika 10 cedis. I was a kwan bia so de kowen kwapias. Nti sika ne san na asa. Na afi ne ni so ada ho wan because ensa no bi nkoma ne ho nto no. Ba ko edi mu tintim bai pa. Apeteshi yenye ho advert enso de bia short to. And it's alcohol addiction, one of the most common forms of addiction, and that's alcoholic products, to drugs, weed, cocaine, those kind of things. And then bakwa ne ho agibe bia gambling, specifically betting. Boys na ban and say no. Say adwuma ni o man no mu. And nti o mo an kasa de o madwen ye kriti through betting. Say the way o menye bibi dia no mu nsuo. O mu twa ni edi wo mo, na o mu dibi. Ye di o mu na o mu dibi. And one of boys ni de na mu. Now the emotional stress our boys need form with this betting no. And just small thing no. E bi kra che say akasifu bi na ahye da hye say adwuma wi. So mufambe messy boys ne up because we be chirema ultimate twa bet say and the players no mo ba no nyina be si JC o mbeba na ba akwa akohye da akohye singlet na o sika say utwa bet o and the players ni nyina be hye buta o mepie na ba akohye chow
bet no wo opa kotwa say players no omo de JC ne bebo ball no ba ko be hye singlet aba be gina park no so na ehwo na bet na say sta upude opetwa ne se refin de whistle ne bedi bo the trumpet da no ko no de ba obedi ko on down what take her.
And into any emotional stress get one boys no go through no, and yet because of dependency as omoji omo enje. The unfortunate situation is see a JSS win pupils in JSS are betting about a certain form of addiction. They say boy ufa bia people are betting. Videos are popping up online. You who say comforti assuring them crano. Who say your video mo no mo phone so omo de nyome gu ase den. The other types of addiction, they say coping strategy. Obi wo ha ne de anger, obufu pa yi. Serious. Asem ketuwe be the way of reacting here. Psychologically, we call it coping strategy. They say akwakoye addiction. And one akwakoye nipa form of coping mechanism. In this situation bia so if you differ kra na person otete no ho a no de obufu afom. Why yes ade na ama na kan ho. Nti asem ketuwe bi na ne buofu. Asem ba na akwakoka se nipa na obi ase asumasi de mo na maniu na asem we kwakokan. Oba be translate in a different way. The way of reacting no. Bibia be say and nti asem si wo fie kra na e bo amane a yempese e be bo say nipa na mane because of the way obi anim so be react. There is addiction to social media these days. Another type of addiction is taking a lot from people. social media. The platforms are so many. A lot of things are going on there. People are addicted to it. Obi sorry free keteso anopa. Nka de enim se nka utimi nyame ye wadom na sorry free keteso a first thing is obobom pa ye but they be. Sisi a generation we are ewomi. Sorry free keteso anopa. First thing is nipa no be fa ne phone. Na wakwa checking the social media platforms no so. Whether when your message be or WhatsApp, at Instagram, Twitter, Thread, TikTok. That is the new form of addiction. First thing when the person wakes up, and the last thing before the person goes to bed. Nina is social media. I saw them everywhere. Lecture hall. People are engrossed on their phones, and it's all about social media. The new form of addiction. Addiction, the idea, like we are saying, it takes a lot from people. Another type, addiction to pornography and sex. Generation now, bano. Boys in the pepono. Phones kita mo memory akesi ni nyina obekona emu be 3/4 pono ho a say the laptop a mo creative folders akesi pono ho a recently yo fa ba ko no be delete the folder mana e share off e bi o hu check here
why na delete folder we free computer ne so no escape tra dey we hu bia o mami problems laptop so ya no wa be so delete the nyama unim concern for ma wo so delete pono ni na
every gadget be a boys no wo pono also, and they are seriously addicted to it. Omo be hwɛ no throughout the day. Unfortunately, ohwɛ sa de ni wi a bonia na be mu akwakoye. The addiction is such that even at public places they just can't resist it. Or the public place pa say a public bathing, say a public place to say theater, I saw them, and they will still be watching some of these things. Very serious behavior. And there are other replaying effects, their addiction to sex. And it's based on that, ninti boys need be oha. I just in a new want to be a womb. Even pregnant woman, be or pregnant or call the bed when him say pregnant woman there, anya or be boys need be oha still no more cancer any panoso. Even mad women, sometimes you see we her or babodam phone and home. Nanso no nyam. When they hear sir. Omu wi no ma pe justification bia ma de enti atokro bi o mbeso oburo mu no.
Say a school ya chere sa de bia esos bia e plural.
Yes, yeah.
Enti penis. I just say nipa ba ko dia. Enti adwama ye mema dia.
Hey, adwama ho. Serious form of addiction, and it has dire consequences that we need to be careful of. And then one other thing related to sex addiction, masturbation. See our young ones no JSS, SS, only on interact here, as some of them can say, well, advice that we are giving them, they say they are not supposed to engage in premarital sex because of the dangers associated with it. Pregnancy, timiba, you can pick up a sexually transmitted disease. And until only obiya nkonko have sex no hakunya sexually transmitted disease and pregnancy akoba. The obeya say masturbation is the alternative. And in the end, no one will take matters into their own hands. No one can. There have been some discussions. People are also encouraging it because when you say masturbate here, then you get to know your body and know it very well. You get to know your sensitive parts. Then later on, you can guide your partner. This is unthinkable because we know the effects of a practice like masturbation, and they say you do it over time, and then later on it affects your relationship. Later on, when your partner and then you don't even feel interested in any sexual activity with your partner because you get so much satisfaction by exploring your own body. And instead, so on your partner and come over having intimate relationship, no, you are thinking about it, pleasuring yourself. A binuma ya to the extent says so then the partner be having sex in right after they are done. Also, no share bathroom no masturbate just to get the excitement they want. Meanwhile, can guide your partner. If it is about excitement and pleasure up to a certain point, I wouldn't feel partner. You can guide your partner so that they do the right thing for you to get the excitement. But no, the person is so addicted to masturbation, say or prefers or no one can. Those are the dangers with some of these addiction. There are stages of addiction. Addiction usually starts from experimentation, usually per adventure. Ade no nkofo bebre ka ho asem enti ma me nkonko try hwe sa product we hwe onti eso bo effect ba ko a e mo dream bio okoduru ss fro Wakapushia a new set of friends. Fegwe, and one a boy to me, and you and a Jew, and the seniors now Kasasi we have to team. And then the innocent student wants to exploit. And like I said, based on the chemical imbalances in the brain, Obibe try back up based on the reaction of Benyano on to me deal. But Obi also try once need them. That is the first stage. And then the second stage will be the social stage or the regular stage. This is where the craving starts. And into a year at the end of Bakono, they got a certain kind of high from it. And into Uma, then the craving comes. I had to say the woman now condo. Ice cream be and I could do some time ago. Woman as about home. When you be uncle, wash it down. Sanity. At the end I'll try, and if it was masturbation, now woman not craving number, you want to do it again. You want to have that same high again. And you better na first one ye deal. You say no. At the end we should have win. My son can try you. If you are not lady, be lucky day. And that is the second stage. The third stage is the risk stage or the obsession stage. This is where now the behavior, the product you are taking in becomes a problem. You are gradually getting hinged on it, and until there is risk involved. Onimpa cigarette amishi. There are consequences. It is going to affect my liver, but we do a certain stage, the person throws caution to the wind. If you say I can go ahead and do whatever I want, regardless of all the consequences that come with it. And then the final stage, which is the dependency. Now you have done it over and over again, and you have come to the point where you cannot do without it. So sorry anopa na nkwapia san wunya one thought enko body numa because you are totally dependent on it. The body cannot function well. Ne ho krabe start ya wo so. And this is where some people usually face the consequence of withdrawal. Say a whole day ade ni bi nkomu ne ho nyina be start ya wo so. Ohun de onye the brain cannot function. Why repulsive, and when one gets to this stage, the dependency stage, that is where it becomes a problem. Now only obite, now say if you observe the person closely, for you to know say this person is addicted to something, these are some of the signs that you see. The first one, maintaining of secrecy. After ye bibia na so this year, or ya de no who say oh bape no or tete. Unya status or notices and you need to pay attention. If the person is somebody close to you, pay particular attention to him or her, because what started in your mind no hide it to do certain things, no. You should be careful. And then the rippling effect, and I said the associated thing is a lack of self-control. After any and if it is about, like I said, gambling, betting, if it's about taking in alcohol, or it's about smoking, the person lacks self-control. Time no super also jahonoko. It doesn't matter what the person is doing. Ebi anka one no ho be observing ka ade anka mo ye nke very important pa obija ho akọ. When it gets to a certain point, especially through dependency stage, the person starts to experience memory loss, and into when na ya ade sisi anka also kai no after through a certain level bia the brain is affected, and into memory loss, something very important here also anko kai no ni refi. And then the other associated thing, lying. One who pass asumasi ade say no ye ubisa na o betwa ntrosis ya. That is how they try to hide certain things from you. And into one notice pa say you draw one who say oh taking in something ubisa no you meeting a pie me parabi keke na me no. But parana also no omo hu da. O try so be so hu pe, then they start deflecting. You need to pay attention. It is a silent cry for help. This is where they need us the most. After seeing those signs, you start to realize there are emotional challenges that are also associated with the signs. After we be through a certain level, you will notice that they start blaming people for everything that is happening in their lives. Because of Subino or then a unity. Of course, and sana dibia or noma, nisika kakrebia wagadano. Odini nyina no msa enti enchana ne ho akere no ne ho akere no so pe, then they start blaming everyone in their lives. So we are a partner, so we are the yere, so we are the plan or no ti Africa do who says so umpu na we before o man yo man kuyi on abrabo. They blame almost everybody. The jumom, the boss, ni bibia, they feel say everything that is going wrong in their lives, it is because of that person now or on abrabo. They become anxious about almost everything. They start to exhibit anxiety, sometimes depression. At the end of the one abrabum no waba bedroom pempensu bia because they are now dependent on it. At the end of pe onimpa se hano minimobia ensa any cigarette any wi ni ade wa combine ni nyina very prominent person with a prestigious job, and sometimes even at a meeting with me being an say adie we there meaning say no one be kume. So sometimes the level of addiction you do a certain point, one of the emotional changes you see in them, they say there's a lot of depression because when one situation when you say leading ko but that's why you because they don't lack self-control. The little thing, then they go into depression. Now, some of the consequences with addiction, damage relationships. After any partner, because they are addicted to something, they have become secretive. Any BBR, they will lie to you and all that. After they find it difficult to even maintain a relationship. It's like they are isolating themselves in life, and until they prefer to be alone most of the time to be able to do their own things. And all it damages a lot of their relationship. And until after what train who free nipum. Obesha na afi ohwa kodi nsɛmɔne ebi a yaba bɛkyene ne yɛde ne kɔ akɔtutum. They are going to spend time in jail. There was a video of one guy or sister onum ni wi sa, and there's an artist also onum ni wi no be gina stage so perform here who ni pe gina ho nyina sa so mo yɛ nkokɔ.
Sɛ me ko stage na me num wi a me hu crowd ni nyina sɛ nkokɔ. Me sa na ya me hu wɔn. Omo guo ni nyina nipa ni nyina me hu wɔn sɛ sabi nkokɔ ne ɔmo ma.
So yes, once they have an impaired mental state, impaired vision and all that, they can do certain things unconsciously. If you be and there are consequences. They say maybe the person gets arrested. They have to spend time in jail. Another consequence, bankruptcy. Once people get addicted to a certain behavior, either consuming a product, either insan, weed, cocaine, smoking, all those things. The seeker be a share adakamu baby or back yes because now they are dependent on the product. We can go for monom san say pen any people to who say your calculation how to move say sanko for no move scapa. They are always crying that they don't have money because they will spend their last dime to consume the alcohol. But all your calculation, 365 days in a year. Now her say every day be say nipa no so obenom sana be cost 20 cedis multiply na her and see the amount of money they've spent. So yes, they always complain that they don't have money. Later on uncle be uncle bit me saving all their idea no. Or the now investing into that thing. Now the young ones are investing heavily into betting. They invest heavily near duomo. Now emotionally they are being tortured. The other unfortunate consequence can be death. After they get into a certain stage, some of them even consider suicide, and psychologically they call that the tunnel vision. Wakwa could do a or feel say after the society are rejecting them. Na bra basa. They have no other option until they call it the tunnel vision. As a rural tunnel mono, you have no other option but to go to the end of the tunnel. And once they start contemplating suicide, they don't consider any other option because when they say they've run out of options, over here, see any uncle who can create because they feel say they failed in life. They feel say they are being stigmatized against. And maybe now people will look at him in a certain way. And why don't I just end everything? Very unfortunate situation, Ankasa. A lot of people who are committing suicides, most of them is because they are addicted to probably one drug or the other. Now, the best way to treat an addiction is self-admission. So one can say there is a problem. I have a problem and I need to take care of it. It becomes easier to treat it. So one problem or addiction where it is very difficult for you to treat it because nipano what tries to born crowds will no problem. So how do you go ahead and help the person? Once the person admits it, then we can go into the health issues. So usually a drug addiction and now over time sometimes the way to go is through detoxification. I just say admitting then they detox the body, then now they can go through the therapy. Sometimes we can adapt psychotherapy, group therapy sessions and other things so that people share their experiences to help that person. And then there are medications when you go to the hospital, you bet me the amount over time to help some of the chemical imbalances in the brain to now become stabilized and all that. So they nipa and deal with it. Personally, I think one other thing you can add if you are addicted to anything, well, be it a product or a certain behavior, is through fasting and prayers. Not just prayers, also the fasting come on. Because once you are addicted to something, it is very difficult to break away from it. Say one month with fasting ama nyankopon amfa ahode no mfi so ama wo a oboa. You can stay clean for a while because you ade magai. One day the trigger will just come, and then you fall back into it. Minimobia, na this person was addicted to gayism. This person actually confessed publicly to engaging in that act, and it was an outcry. I know who say at this point now God has helped him to break away from it. From day now confess and he said say now he feels he has been able to break away from it, and until he's starting on a clean slate. From day now confess it even became worse. After no year crowd bro timer or shas here for no be anymore. That is because the moment you decide say you are breaking away from it I want to burn some attacks cry about more. So you seriously need to add fasting to your prayers to be able to break away from it. Let me who are doing your comment section and say no. If you found the information useful, make sure you share the content. Now subscribe to our channel. Tell somebody about this channel. We out.